The story behind Bird.i is all about giving access to Earth observation data. And what we call Earth observation data is imagery which are acquired by satellite, airborne or drone. If you rewind very quickly, my background is I started in the space sector and I started to work with satellite imagery. And there are huge value in this imagery, but nobody gets access to this imagery. What you've got today is Google Maps, and Google Maps is quite often out of date and poor quality. So from the very beginning of Bird.i, I have tried to bridge this gap, so bringing fresh and accurate imagery to the mass market, basically. This story or this dream started to become true mid of 2016 when I raised investment from venture capital firms and started to demonstrate that this vision could be, in fact, a business. And that's basically how I started Bird.i. I think it's quite an interesting question, and you can see clearly how it works with the construction when you look at a platform like Thomson Reuters platform, for instance. So if you look at the construction sector, and more over in the Middle East and North Africa, it's growing and it's evolving very quickly. Stakeholders or customers need to have an up-to-date and accurate information to make a decision, basically. So if you take investment firm, investment bank, hedge funds, and so on. So they register to platforms like Thomson Reuters Project and others, and they've got access to intelligence around construction sites. Now, this intelligence are gathered in three different ways. So you've got either people looking at Google Maps, which is out of date and poor quality. They call contractors, and they've got very low accuracy reports, or the last resort is they go directly on site to check if it's building or not. By using satellite or Earth observation imagery, what we do is we monitor in real time all these sites. And what we give you is at the matter of just a click, we give you an up-to-date view of this site, which tell you exactly what it looks like today, not 6 months or 2 years ago. And that's really just the beginning of the story, because when we've got an image, what we do is we process this image to extract the information it contains. So we use machine learning to identify where there are changes in the construction or when there is a new construction project, for instance. And that's really the benefit at the end for the construction sector, is to identify, how quickly is moving the sector, how quickly is moving this specific construction site, or where do you have the new construction site, basically. And that's really what we do today with the Thomson Reuters project. So that has been the main challenge I've faced since the creation of Bird.i. Everybody's using Google Maps today. And if you think about 9 business out of 10 use Google Maps to make an informed decision, out of date and poor quality. And when I started to open access to this imagery and show the world like it is today, I've had so many opportunities. So we had, for example, logistic companies. So 30% of the cost to deliver a parcel is in the last mile. Why? Because this last mile, we don't know where is this house or this location you have to deliver the parcel. Well, if you get an up-to-date image, like a snapshot of the location, you know exactly where you have to deliver this. But the same, for example, for the insurance sector, when you have to make a claim or even the valuation of a property, having access to trusted information such as an imagery is very valuable. So having all these options were really great and shows there is a huge opportunity behind, but you cannot run after all these rabbits and you end up by not catching a single one. So if you look at the opportunity, you have to look at 3 functional markets. You have to look at asset management. So for example, energy infrastructure firm, they have to monitor their pipelines, electric lines, and having access to the imagery, but also the analytics on top of them, make them much more efficient. The second one is about asset intelligence, exactly what I said with Reuters. We can monitor oil refinery in real time to see what's the level. We can monitor parking. We can monitor the size of a roof to say if the solar panel will fit. So there's so many information which are contained and that would provide intelligence around the market. And the last one is about asset promotion. I will take the very simple example. You want to book a holidays package on Expedia. How do you make sure that if you book this hotel, this is what you will find in 1 month? You will not have a construction site next door. Giving you the trusted information will help, for example, tourist company to show you that if you buy this today, that's what you will get on next month. So it's really about the promotion in that case. That's an interesting question, because you've got some existing trends which have enabled this to happen, and I will just use the commoditization of cloud computing or machine learning, for instance. Finding a machine learning model is not a problem anymore. I mean, Google has put a lot of them open source, but having access to the data that you can exploit to train this model and then identify the future or predict the future is another story. So we've leveraged this technology, and what we've done today at Bird.i is we are creating the marketplace which will serve this information in the future. And the data we've got access are very, very little compared to what we'll get in 5 years' time. So there are two main trends which are coming into the place. You've got mega constellation of satellites. You've got lots of companies, mainly in the US, who are developing a massive constellation of remote sensing satellites. So basically, they will send hundreds of satellites orbiting every day around the planet and making a lot of acquisition. So you increase the frequency and the resolution of the image. And the other one is about drones. Drones today are just emerging, and you've got few people or construction companies using them to monitor one site. But it's because there are some blockers around the intellectual property of the image, but also the regulation, obviously, to fly your drones. When these blockers will be enabled, you could think about Bird.i like the Uber for the drone. You will click on a location, you want an image, and this is all the images which are available. In fact, it's not fresh enough for you, so you might just order a drone, and somebody in the surrounding will just make the acquisition for you with a drone. And that's really the trends we are anticipating by creating this platform, which will be the marketplace for this type of information. I think what we are doing today is we've talked a lot about disruption today, and we are really disrupting the satellite or the imaging industry, because what we are seeing today is images are worth nothing. An image is just good at the time, it's a snapshot, but what really matters is the information you got into this image. And by building this platform and changing the business model, what we say is give us access to all this imagery, and we'll extract the information that are really meaningful to somebody else. Okay? So what we are doing basically is creating a new market. And when I say creating the mass market for observation imagery, in fact, no, we are creating the mass market for the analytics you get out of this imagery. So think about these big platforms. So today we curate around 10 million square kilometers of image every day. But then with the drones or the small satellite constellation, it's almost endless, the data you've got access. And the way I see the future for Bird.i or this sector is you click on a location and straight away you've got the answer, even before having the questions. And that works for you as an individual when you go on holidays. That works for an intelligence platform like Acon, for example, where they want to provide trustable information to their customers. And it works for, I would say, my mother-in-law. She wants a postcard from the new house she's built, for instance, and she could get this straight away. So it's really a wide variety of different products you can do out of this.